Hi, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of people and organizations in the news. My guest today is Christine Mann, Community Engagement Coordinator for Refuge For Women, a nonprofit, faith-based organization providing specialized long-term care for women who have escaped human trafficking and sexual exploitation. Thanks for being here, Christine.
Thanks for having me.
If you will, please begin by telling our viewers a little about Refuge For Women.
Okay. Well, you did a great job. I mean, the introduction said a lot about what we do. We are a national organization, and so we have locations across the United States, but the location where I currently am serving is here in the North Texas area. And we have two houses. We have our long-term program house, which serves our residents for up to 1 year, and then they can transition into our transitional living house and continue the program there. And so that first year in our program, we really concentrate on focusing on their healing. We use a trauma-based approach to helping heal all of the wounds that they have in their experiences in trafficking. And then we move them into transitional living, which then gives them another year to be able to get their feet underneath them and then enter into the world after that.
So this is quite a process to get them over the trauma that they've experienced under this.
Yeah, there's studies that say that it takes at least 2 years for to really get the effects of the healing that we offer at Refuge.
How do women become victims of sex traffickers?
Well, like we talked earlier, sadly, 41% of the women find themselves in that situation due to being trafficked by a family member, which is it's a heartbreaking statistic.
Wow.
It starts very early in life, and then once they are into that type, once they're trafficked at a young age, it becomes part of their life. It becomes normal to them, and so they just stay in that life until they make a choice to get out, or someone comes in and rescues them.
41% come from families that are trafficking them?
Mm-hmm. Yes, whether that's a mother or a father or a grandparent, an aunt or an uncle, and then a huge percentage after that, maybe 39%, I think, are a romantic relationship. Maybe they're duped into falling in love with someone that then turns into a trafficker.
And are they sold then?
They are. Either monetary, it could happen. They could be sold for money, exchanging sex for money, or it could be given clothes and purses. I mean, they're a commodity. I mean, they could be paid in other ways as well too. Unfortunately, the news and social media, they portray it as like we said, the big black van driving down the street, snatching victims off of the street. And while that happens, primarily it happens through someone they know.
Yeah. Now, that's an amazing statistic. I had no idea. 41% from family. Wow.
And you asked how they get their victims. Although I gave you statistics, it also, social media is a huge part of gaining victims, because they go after relationships with young people over social media, gaming, all types of things like that, where, especially since 2020, where, everybody left the public and they all went into their houses and they got on social media more, and so it's a huge tool.
It's true that we hear so much from the media or from Hollywood, movies, that they're always grabbed off the street. That's but how many people know 41% of the family trafficking them? So.
Well, that's a huge distraction when the media can tell you that it happens on the street. Everybody's protecting them, out in public. But we have to look at what's happening in the homes. We have to look at protecting them from the computer screen.
Yeah, right. Starts right there. All right. How about boys? Are they also trafficked?
Yes. I read a statistic earlier. That I don't remember. It's like 20%. But I know we've spoken with Bob Williams, and he said it could be up to 50% of the trafficking victims are boys. I think it's just underreported, so we don't really know what the true statistic is. I think it's obviously a shameful crime that's happening to them, and no one wants to report it. And so I think it is underreported, but yes, boys are trafficked.
So Refuge For Women, do they also handle boys with
No, it's just we would refer a boy to Bob Williams, House of Hope, and Rancho Rescue.
So you mentioned the time it takes to have a victim get over the trauma, and do they actually get over it at some point? I mean,
Yeah, you know.
I guess it depends on the
It just
severity.
well, and it depends on what kind of care they get. I mean, if you go into a program like Refuge for Women and you stay for 2 years and you get the type of trauma-based healing and care that we provide, you're going to have a much better chance of not entering back into the life. But 80% of victims of trafficking will go back to that chaotic life that they are living if they don't get the proper care.
They could go back to it even after.
There is so much psychological damage that happens through, you know, that time that they're being trafficked.
That's interesting
it's
too,
crazy.
Chris. Is there a type, I mean, of person that is more easily trafficked? I mean, would it be somebody who has a poor self-image, you know, someone's insecure, what
Yeah,
have you?
it's all races, all genders, all socioeconomic status, all of that, you know, is across the board. But, you know, I think the common denominator is low self-esteem. Someone looking for love, looking for a family, looking for acceptance. And what a trafficker does is he finds whatever it is that that person is looking for, and he promises to provide it. And so he dupes his victim into believing that their needs are going to be provided for by him or her.
Are many of the women who get trafficked coming across the border, let's say the southern border?
We don't, you know, honestly, we don't have evidence of that right now. I've heard that possibly one day in the future, we're gonna start to see evidence of that. But until there's an outcry of the victims, then it's hard to put statistics, you know, a number to that.
Sure.
But right now, we don't have evidence of that.
So a person who finds themselves in that victim status, how would they contact Refuge for Women?
Well, they can go to our website. Typically, we have, each victim would have an advocate that would come and fill out an application on our website.
Right.
It's refugeforwomen.org. And we also, you know, you can call us, our phone number's on the website.
How about Refuge for Women as an organization? How do you reach out and look for victims?
We usually collaborate with all different organizations. There are frontline organizations that go and they'll outreach. They'll do outreach on the streets down in Dallas, or they'll go outreach down in strip clubs and things like that. And so they might do an outreach, and we have collaboration with those frontline agencies. But then also we have emergency homes. Refuge for Women also has emergency homes in other areas of the country. And so we might get referrals from our own organization.
All right, so of course, you have a website, and I have that on the written portion, so people can click on the website and get more information. Please tell us about an upcoming awareness event for Refuge for Women.
We're super excited about that. September 15th, we are going to have an awareness event down at Watermark Church. They have graciously let us use their facility for that. We have experts from Homeland Security, law enforcement. We have, speaking of outreach, we have people that go down on the streets down in Harry Hines. They do outreach down there. They're going to be on our panel. We have victims, survivors, I should call them, on our panel. Abby Germer, our executive director, will be on that panel, as well as a representative from Traffic 911. So we have an amazing group. Oh, and Dennis from For the One, who they search for victims and try to find missing and sexually exploited victims. They'll all be on our panel. It's an amazing group of panelists. We're really excited about it.
And this is a fundraiser?
No, this is just an awearness event. We are committed to spreading awareness about sex trafficking in our area.
Well, how is Refuge for Women funded?
We're funded by donations from churches, organizations, and individuals. We are not funded by the government.
All right. Christine, we're being grabbed by the clock, so is there anything else you'd like to add before we close?
I think that's it, but I would really suggest, if you haven't been to one of our awareness events, to take the opportunity to attend that one, and spread the word to everybody that you know, because the more we know, the more that we can make a difference.
Well, I want to thank you, Christine, for
Thank you
coming
for having
over,
me.
and God bless you,
Thank
folks,
you.
for the great work you do, work that is not being done by the government, and you guys stepped in and
Thank you.
saving many lives.
Thank
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching.